Hi, ladies and gentlemen, fellow traders. Welcome to another episode of Weekly Forex Outlook with Charts Engineering Pro. We really appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video, and we do not take it for granted at all. If you haven't yet subscribed or you are new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any content we post here. And if you also find value with what we share here, be sure to like, drop your comments, share your views, and share this video to your fellow traders or anyone who would find this information useful. We'll also drop a link to the free Telegram group where we share updates of these setups as the week unfolds. Without wasting much time, let's have a quick recap of last week's setups discussed in a previous video before we dive into next week's analysis. So stay tuned. This is S&P 500. We had this position from episode 36 and the price has finally hit the TP that we had, so this is a win for us. We also have here Australia 200. This setup was also from episode 36 and price is almost at our second TP, and we are still holding on to this position until the TP finally hits, so this is also a win. We also have here Russell 2000 or US 2000. We saw this setup from episode 36. We had this entry from episode 36 and price never triggered until last week, and price actually came to trigger our entry, and now the market is currently running in our direction. So since the TP2 is here to hit, going into next week, we will look out for a possible re-entry or second entry around this zone here. Look for selling opportunities to continue to TP2. So we are still very bearish on Russell 2000 for the coming week. This is GBPCAD. So for GBPCAD, we had an overall head and shoulder formation where we were anticipating that price was going to pull back into this area of interest to give us reversal patterns or selling opportunity from this zone. Price tipped the area of interest slightly here, so we later saw a flag formation, which indicated that price was is likely going to buy into properly into the area of interest we expected it to get to. So we identified this flag, it broke out, we got our entry, came for a retest, we got our entry somewhere here, price bought and later came to hit our break even, and then later the following day it took off rapidly and then hit our desired TP. So this was a break even trade. We couldn't capitalize fully on it as we expected, but then the bigger move is what we are very interested in, which is the sell side. So we're going to look at that for the coming week. This is USDJPY. So for USDJPY, we also saw this flag formation. I think before FOMC, we had this flag formation. So we're anticipating that after the breakout, this was the flag formation. So we're anticipating that after the breakout, we're going to get a retest of this structure point, this first structure point or this second structure point, and then get a buy to the upside. But unfortunately, looking at how JPY index was behaving at the time, we had to close the trade around here. So the first position was in a small loss, and then the second position was in a small profit, so more like a break-even trade. Price came back or dropped into our area of interest where we were anticipating it to drop for us to get buying opportunities, and then started moving up without any buying confirmation. So going into next week or the following weeks ahead of us, we will be looking at the buy side of things for USDJPY. Since we've had a strong reaction from the first zone, we will wait patiently to see if we can get buying opportunities to the various targets we have from the previous week. This is NZDUSD. We caught this trade I think during the Asian session. So price is currently it almost hit our SL. I think with some brokers, depending on your spreads, some might have hit SL, some too might still have the trade running. So this trade came into profit and went back, almost hitting our SL, and then came back into profit again. So going into next week, we are expecting that price is going to break, is going to clear this 4-hour structure or this daily structure we have here, come for another retest or a lower high formation, or more like a right shoulder formation, and look for a continuation to the downside to complete this move. So we are very bearish on NZD USD. So actually, the next trade we took on AUDUSD was, I would say, was more of an impulsive trade because of what we saw on NZDUSD. So we actually took a loss um, on the AUDUSD position. So we took a loss here, and look at how price behaved afterwards. So we took a loss on this position, and let's go to the next. This is CAD JPY. So CAD JPY also made its way to the area of interest we anticipated it to come to before we see buying opportunities to the upside. You can see this strong reaction from the area of interest. So going into next week, we'll be looking forward to buying opportunities to continue to the various TPs we have above. So we are very bullish on CAD JPY for the coming week. Let's have a look at a quick look at the economic calendar for the week. We don't have much for the week. Also on Tuesday, Monday, there's no high impact news on Monday. On Tuesday, we're going to have the German flash manufacturing PMI for Euro, for GBP, for USD, and then on Wednesday, we're going to have the AUDCPI, and I think earlier in the morning during the market session, we're going to have the GBPCAD. On Thursday, we're going to have the unemployment claims for the USD, and on Friday, we're going to have the GBP retail sales. So let's take note of these high impact news for the coming week. Let's see what we have for the coming week. So this is DXY. So for DXY, last week we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this very area of interest to give us buying opportunities to the upside. Currently, we have price retesting the area, and so we are likely going to see a direct reaction from here upwards, or we will likely see a deeper pullback, deeper into the zone or these areas of interest we have here before we see it take off. So we just have to be patient to see how price develops around this area and see whether we are going to wait for it to give us a clean reversal or a clean confirmation for us to go to the upside, or we just have to see how it reacts. Should it continue start buying or continue to buy and shift this daily structure, we'll wait for. Should it just start buying and clear this daily structure, we'll wait for a possible higher low formation, and we take it off from there. So we are still very bullish on DXY. This is the Japanese yen index, or the JPY basket. JPY basket is extremely bearish now. Price is both monthly, on monthly, weekly, daily. It's very bearish. So we are likely going to see most of the JPY pairs buying for the coming week. So what we have here is we had this break of this area of interest, and now we have a clean retest of the area of interest. So going into next week, we'll be looking out for a daily structure shift here, and then a possible lower high formation or right shoulder, then take the sales to the downside. So we are very bearish on the JPY basket. Alternatively, we can likely see price form maybe a double top formation right here before it falls. So counts for retest and then it falls. So let's just be on the lookout and see how price plays out for the coming week for the JPY pairs or the JPY basket. So this is EURUSD. So last week we anticipated that price was going to pull back either to this very first area of interest or the second one, so that we look out for selling opportunities from there. Price has pulled back into the area of interest. So going into next week, should we get a daily structure shift here to clear this daily structure here, and we get a possible lower high formation, a possible pullback or right shoulder formation, we look for selling opportunities to the downside. Should we get let's say a double top formation or any reversal pattern around this zone, or should price even pull back a bit higher into the second zone above, we'll still be interested in taking the sales or looking for selling opportunities from there to the downside. So we just have to be patient since price has already reached our first area of interest. So we just have to see how price plays out for the coming week. This is GBPUSD. Same from last week. We anticipated that price was going to react from either of these two zones. So price is currently at the zone. So what we're going to wait for is a possible daily structure shift here. Should we get the daily candle to break below this daily structure, we come for a lower high formation, and then we continue the sales to the downside. Or should we get any reversal pattern develop around here, we'll still be interested in taking the sales to the downside. Should price break above the zone, then we will likely consider the bullish side of things. Should we get a break, daily candle break above the zone, then looking at the bullish side of things for GBPUSD. We also have here GBPJPY. We had this position from last week, where we were anticipating that price was going to react from this zone. I think 2 weeks ago, we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area of interest to give us some buying opportunities. And as you can see, price is currently forming something like a double bottom formation right here. So going into next week, actually the entire move here is likely to form a possible crab pattern, which is a harmonic pattern. So we just have to look for buying opportunities to complete this pattern. So going into next week, should we get a structural shift here and come for a pullback, we'll be interested in taking the buys from here to the upside. Or should price also decide to go to the side? Should price also just fall back again and give us something like a triple bottom formation or a left shoulder ahead and a possible right shoulder formation, then we'll look for a continuation to the upside for GBPJPY. So for now, we are extremely bullish on GBPJPY. Should this zone violate, should price violate this zone and come for retest, then we know we are going to the downside. Sorry for the plenty illustrations we have on the screen, on the chart. Let's go to the next. We have here EURJPY. So for EURJPY, since we have a very bearish JPY index, we are likely going to see some buying momentum from here. And this move actually is looking like an inverse head and shoulder formation, but it's not too clear, but it looks like it. This would likely be the left shoulder. This would be the head. And the right shoulder is actually what we are seeing here, developing here. So I think price is just going to, this is the right shoulder, and then price is just going to continue to the upside. So these are the possibilities we have. Should we get a possible pullback, now that we have a daily structure shift here, should we have a possible pullback to retest the structure point or come for a deeper pullback, we will likely look for buying opportunities from this zone, then take it to the upside. Or should price also buy, or should we get a daily candle break above this high here, we'll look for a possible pullback to the daily structure here, or a deeper pullback here. We'll look for buying opportunities to the upside. So we are very bullish on EURGBP. EURJPY, sorry. Should price find its way back down here to clear this daily structure we have here and come for a retest, then we'll be going down. So we are very, bias is very, is bullish for EURJPY for the coming week. This is EURGBP. We had this position from last week. We identified this head and shoulder formation. We identified this as a head and shoulder, and this is the left shoulder, this is the head, we have the right shoulder. We are looking forward to see a completion of this head and shoulder formation, and we anticipated that price was going to pull back into the first area of interest to give us selling opportunities. Currently, price has made its way into the area of interest. So going into next week, what we'll be doing is we're going to look out for we just have to be patient. Oops, what's wrong with the internet? Sorry, I think I have a challenge with my internet. Okay. So as you can see, price has made its way into the area of interest. So we just have to be patient to see if we can get some reversal patterns or any bearish signals around this zone. Should price pull back a bit higher into this second zone above and still give us selling opportunities there, we will still be interested in taking the sales to the downside. So let's be on the lookout. Let's be patient to see how price develops around here before we take our sales to the downside. So these are various TPs we have below here. So this is EURNZD. We had this position or this setup from last week where we were anticipating that price was going to break above this zone and give us something like a double bottom formation from which is reacting from a strong area of interest right here. So we now have the break of the neckline of the possible double bottom. So what we're going to wait for is a possible pullback into the area of interest to look for buying opportunities to target the various targets we have above here. So we are very bullish on EURNZD. So if we can only consider this bearish if we get price to shift this structure. If we get a daily candle close below the structure point, come for a retest, then we will look for the bearish side of things for EURNZD for the coming week. So then we are extremely bullish on EURNZD. This is EURCAD. So EURCAD is also very bearish now. We had this strong momentum from this area right here, and then our price has pulled back into a strong area of interest as well. So we'll likely look for some reversal patterns or some selling confirmations around this zone, then we'll take ourselves from there. So we wait for selling confirmations here, or should price also, we have this daily structure here. Should we get a daily structure shift here? Should we get a daily structure or daily candle close below this daily structure, give us a possible lower high formation, then we'll look for selling opportunities to the downside? Or should we get a double top formation or anything that signals or gives us a signal to sell around this zone, we'll be glad to take that sell from there. So these are various targets we have below for EURCAD for the coming week or weeks. So this is GBPCAD, the head and shoulder formation which we were looking out for. Now we have a clean reaction from our area of interest. So going into next week, it's similar to GBPCAD. What we're waiting for is a possible daily structure shift here. Look for low high formation, we take ourselves to the downside. Or should we get a double top formation around the zone? Should we get a double top formation around the zone, then look for a break, a retest, and then a continuation to the downside. Also, should price pull back way a bit higher, should price also make its way a bit higher into this zone, we'll still be interested in taking the sales from there to the downside. So we are extremely bearish on GBPCAD for the coming week. So let's look out for that. We also have here NZDCAD. So NZDCAD has also reacted nicely from an area of interest. So similar to GBPCAD and EURCAD, what we'll be looking out for is a possible daily structure shift here, come for a low high formation, take ourselves to the downside. Or should we get a double top formation around here? Should we get a double top formation here, break, retest, continue to the downside, then we'll consider those selling opportunities as well. So we are extremely bearish on NZDCAD for the coming week also. So we have here gold. So as I illustrated or I mentioned last time, the reaction we saw between I think January 2021 to September 2022, where DXY got some strong momentum. If you look at that period, we saw gold either consolidating for a long time, or even as gold and silver they either sold or they corrected to the bearish side, or they either consolidated for a very long time. So we are likely going to see more bearishness for gold for the coming weeks. So what we're going to look out for is, should we get a possible pullback into this area of interest, we'll look for selling opportunities here to the downside. Should price pull back all the way high to the second zone, we'll still be interested in taking the sales from there to the downside. So we are very bearish on gold for the coming week. Until we get a break above, then we are currently bearish on gold. We also have here silver, and we're also waiting for a possible pullback into any of these two areas of interest, look for selling opportunities to the downside. So we are very bearish on silver as well for the coming week. So these will be our targets, TP1, TP2, TP3, and this is a very strong area of interest which price may likely approach or get to in the future. So let's look out for that. We are extremely bearish for silver until we break above this, come for retest. We are currently very bearish on silver. We have here Brent crude oil. As we identified last week, we are likely going to see a possible crab formation on crude oil, where price may likely reach $186 per barrel. So going into next week, you just have to be looking for buying opportunities. We'll be looking out for a possible pullback into this area of interest, so we get buying opportunities and we continue to the upside. So these are various targets we have for Brent crude oil or UK oil for the coming. These are TP1, TP2, TP3. So TP1 around $120 per barrel, TP2 around $134 per barrel, and then TP3, which is our crab pattern and potential reversal zone, around $186 per barrel for Brent crude oil. This is Nasdaq. So going in, Nasdaq has now finally shifted bearish on the weekly and the daily perspective. So going into next week, we're just going to look out for a possible pullback into this area of interest. We look for selling opportunities downside. Should price pull back a bit higher to the top, we will still be interested in taking the sells from there to the downside. Unless price breaks above this zone and then continues to the upside, we are now very bearish on Nasdaq for the coming week or weeks. We also have here US30. So US30, last week we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area of interest. Price pulled back, give us a nice rejection candle and give us this strong bearish engulfing candle. So going into next, so we're not able to catch any position here. So going into next week, we are going to look out for a possible pullback into this area of interest and we look for selling opportunities to the downside. This might be an area of resistance or support where price can possibly react from. But then if price is able to give us a strong momentum to break through this support, then we will likely get to these TPs we have below here for US30. We have here GBPJPY 225, or which is the Nikkei 225, which is also very bearish now. So what we're going to wait for next week is a possible pullback into this area of interest. We look for selling opportunities to the various TPs we have here. Should price pull back a bit higher to the area to this area, we will still be interested in taking the sell to the downside. So for GBPJPY 225 or the Nikkei 225, we are extremely bearish for the coming week. I think I have some setups I forgot to add, so let's look at them. So this is AUDUSD. So AUDUSD, what we're going to look out for is to wait to see a daily candle close below this structure point here, or this zone, or this area of interest. So we'll wait for a daily candle closure below this area of interest, then we wait for a possible pullback into the area of interest, then we look for selling opportunities to the downside. So these are various TPs we have for AUDUSD, sorry, for the coming weeks ahead of us. This is also AUDCAD, which has so from the monthly and the weekly perspective, it is very bullish, but the daily and the 4-hour perspective is now bearish. So going into next week, what we're going to look out for is a possible pullback around here. Any pullback we get around this zone and we get selling confirmations, we can start taking ourselves from there to the downside. So these are our very first two TPs, and the support here price might likely approach this support area or this area of interest we have below right here. The second alternative we also have is we can wait for a daily structure shift, a daily candle to close below this structure, we come for a lower high formation, then we look for selling opportunities to the downside. So we are very bearish on AUDCAD for the coming week. Should price break above this zone, then we know that we are going bullish. So for the last one, which is NZDCHF. NZDCHF is giving us something like a head and shoulder formation, which is not too clear, but it is what it is. So if we can see here, I think it's a bit clearer on the weekly time frame. So this is a weekly time frame. So this is our possible left shoulder, this is our head, and this is the right shoulder, which is now playing out. So we are likely going to see some bearishness on NZDCHF for the coming week. So what we're going to look out for now is we have this nice reaction from this area of interest. So we are going to look out for is a possible pullback into this area of interest, or should price pull back a bit higher around here, or even back to this zone, we'll still be interested in taking the sales from there to the downside. So we are very bearish on NZDCHF for the coming week. Thank you so much for sticking through to the end of this video. I really appreciate you for your time. Don't forget to like, drop your comments, share your views, and share this video to your fellow traders. I wish all of us a profitable week ahead of us and a fruitful one as well. Take good care of yourselves, and I'm going to catch you guys on another episode. And don't forget to also join the free Telegram group where we'll be sharing updates of these setups as the week unfolds. Thank you so much and have a good time. Bye bye.